From the video, the guy could be heard saying, "Let me take you to the place where something happened. Let me take you." And of course, this is to show how poorly intelligent some of our police officers are. Because if you are really an intelligent officer, you would have actually used that person as a witness or as a pointer to cover up and uncover the syndicate, if there was to be a syndicate. But imagine silencing Somoto on their own, and it comes to bear that what if this is the activities that happen in such a jurisdiction? Only if a person is in active combat. For example, if a criminal is opening fire to the police can actually return fire and in defense, okay, to suppress such an atrocity or a criminal act. However, this is somebody that is alleged to have committed an offense for whatsoever reason. The person is not armed, the person is even currently on handcuffs, and you decided to end the person's life there. So at this point, you have become the executive arm of government and have also become the judicial arm of government. You've exercised the executive powers of the president as enshrined in Section 5 of the Constitution, and you have also exercised the judicial powers as enshrined in Section 6 of the Constitution, and you have on your own decided that he's guilty without any form of trial, without any form of explanation. In fact, from the video, the guy could be heard saying, "Let me take you to the place where something happened. Let me take you." And of course, this is to show how poorly intelligent some of our police officers are. Because if you are really an intelligent officer, you would have actually used that person as a witness or as a pointer to cover up and uncover the syndicate, if there was to be a syndicate. But imagine silencing Somoto on their own, and it comes to bear that what if this is the activities that happen in such a jurisdiction? So I totally agree with Leader Sowore when he said there's a need for all the police officers, senior and junior police officers involved, to be immediately dismissed and all of them brought to court for criminal trials and for murder. You know why? Even when the court orders that a defendant has been convicted for murder and the court orders that he should be hanged by the neck until he be dead, if the person who is the executioner, who is supposed to carry out the order, goes otherwise to use his hand and strangle that defendant that is already convicted, that is not the order of the court. That executioner will also face murder. Exactly. That is to show you that orders of the court must be strictly followed. If the court has pronounced on how this person be dead, it must be followed. So it is even wrong ab initio for the police officer, no matter the circumstances, except, like I said, it is in an active criminal proceedings where you know that yes, there's a direct confrontation. This person is attempting to escape, and it was done, the releasing of a bullet was done in pursuant to try to apprehend such person. Then it is reasonably inferred that yes, it is indeed very, very important to stop that criminal, because on eloping he might also injure somebody else. But at the point where there is no aggravation, he has already been taken into custody. Why then do you need to take his life? So that is what we're looking at. That extrajudicial killing must be frowned against. Even though a lot of persons have said that yes, if it was to be in the forest, for example, and you caught some of these bandits or terrorists, that have been killing our soldiers, and instead of taking them into custody, they waste their life. That is a different scenario. This scenario is something that happened in a community, in a town. This is not in the bush. If you meet bandits in the bush, you treat them like criminals. But when you meet persons, whatever reason, you ensure that you are professional. We have a lot of good police officers in this country that are highly professional, that are very intelligent. It is just sad that we have some other police officers that are highly untrained. And this also calls for the current Inspector General of Police to retrain officers of his department. They must be professional, and we must ensure that this kind of thing do not happen again. Otherwise, there is going to be EndSARS 2.0. And I'm telling you, Nigerians are not joking about it. Nobody needs to mobilize them. Nigerians on their own will mobilize themselves, feed themselves, and shut down this country. Thank you.
Sore points in law enforcement in Nigeria. And it's quite most sad. That killing took us back to the sad Obesian age, where might is right and power is right. But in all honesty, that situation is not isolated. That is the policing we now have in Nigeria, where the men in black has decided to go back to the dark Obesian age, where they now feel that once you wear that black uniform and you have a gun in your hand, you are more powerful than any other individual in this country. The situation of that young man in that video is worse, or was worse, than that of AG Rafiu Bello versus AG Oyo. And in that case, the man was even on appeal. The trial court convicted him and sentenced him, while the matter was pending at the appellate court. The government of Oyo State hurriedly executed him. And I can remember the words of my lords in the Supreme Court. They came down hard on the Oyo State government for accepting to kill a man whose appeal is still pending and subsisting in court. In this situation, the young man is still presumed innocent under the law. What this means is that, as far as the law is concerned, that man has committed no offense, has done nothing wrong under the law. His right to his life under Chapter 4, Section 33 was full. And for a policeman who is being paid with taxpayers' money, a trigger-happy policeman who is being paid with taxes being paid by that young man, to not terminate extrajudicially the life of a vibrant young man who has explained the circumstances surrounding his presence at that scene, calls for a serious overhaul of Nigerian policing architecture and system generally. The only thing which has brought this to the fore was that there was a video recording of this situation. But I cannot tell you for free, as an activist and as people who interact with these policemen and their victims on a daily basis, it is not the norm in Nigeria. And unless something drastic is done about this, Nigerians will continue to suffer in the hands of persons who they pay and who are meant to be their servants. Beyond the rhetorics of bringing those officers to Abuja to face police disciplinary actions, more fundamental steps must be taken, which will include an overhaul